Welcome to a new series called A Year in the Day of a Life, where we celebrate Anton Bruckner's life from his born day on the 4th of September 1824, 199 years ago today. As always, we start with a visual piece of art by living Canadian artist Sophie Gervais. This is an untitled piece. I find this rather attractive, personally. One of my favourites. I do like her landscapes. So let's have a look at the September. On the 3rd of September was the completion of the motet Verga Jesse, which is WAB 52. Also on the same day, the completion of Symphony No. 6 in 1881. Then, of course, Anton Bruckner's birthday, 199 years ago, on the 4th of September in 1824. And then on the 5th of September in 1883, the completion of Symphony No. 7. And it is Symphony No. 7 I wish to talk about in this video. It is the only one of Bruckner's works that I can find that is actually in the key of E major. It is the last of what is known as the ternary period, where Bruckner switched from minor to major key. It wasn't my first introduction to the music of Anton Bruckner, but it was the first symphony that really communicated a message. As I was listening one time to the first movement of this Symphony No. 7, I got the feeling that it was describing some sort of tragedy, some very big events, but of course I had only the sound to go on. I knew nothing about Anton Bruckner, the composer, about his life, his era, or anything about him apart from I'd listened to Symphony No. 9, and I believe it was Symphony No. 8. I seem to go in reverse order, and then this Symphony No. 7. As it turns out, it is a sound depiction of the Vienna State Fire, in which 452 people lost their lives. Clearly, this had a huge impact on Bruckner. Then, of course, you have the second movement, a beautiful piece of music which Bruckner had a premonition of Wagner's death in Venice, and this is incorporated into this symphony. It's the first use of the Wagner tuba in a symphony. This is Bruckner the artist being very daring, in total contrast to Bruckner the man. So that communication, I find that amazing that communication came through with not a word being said, and it was only subsequent that I looked up the information and read a bit more about it. I feel also you can hear in that slow movement an indication of the way Bruckner would sort of get carried away. So in these sort of mournful proceedings, the death of someone he referred to as the master, Richard Wagner, that the way he would pray, the way he would display himself was probably a little bit uncomfortable for a lot of people, and I feel that comes across in the music. But then he sort of jolts himself back in that beautiful coda where you get the introduction of the 4 Wagner tubas. Undoubtedly, it is his most popular work. It is the symphony that brought him finally recognition during his lifetime. It's where he had really formulated a cohesive sound that the world could finally start to understand. Bruckner was not writing for his time. He was very advanced. He foreshadows a lot of the 20th century music, Bela Bartok, Stravinsky, and even film music. So I'm going to put a couple of links and a musician's perspective on Symphony No. 7. You can find these all in the playlist, but I shall highlight them in the description to this video. And there is the first recording of 1924 of this Symphony No. 7, but I'll put in maybe a couple more recent ones because you may find that a little bit uncomfortable on the ears. But it's interesting historically how conducting styles and interpretation has changed. There are numerous conductor playlists where you can find Symphony No. 7, so feel free to browse amongst the playlists and find one. There may be parts that a particular conductor will bring out that you will like more than others. So we'll leave that there, and there'll be another video in this series to come very shortly. So happy birthday, Anton.